conditions today can best be described as challenging. I can think of other ways of describing them. Anyway, I am out, and despite getting a complete lashing from the rain for the past half hour, I am on my way for a walk around a lake. Now, I knew it was going to be wet before I came out today. I didn't realise just how wet though. It is really wet, and it's extremely windy, and the direction I'm going to be going into that wind, so I won't be able to see anything, let alone film anything. So I'm really hoping to get a break in it at some point so I can actually get the camera out and shoot something, but if it doesn't, I may have to come up with another plan. Well, I've probably mentioned on more than one occasion that we get a lot of bad weather in Britain. When I say bad weather, I mean wet and windy. Now, that's not actually bad for photography. Just splashing through some puddles. It's not bad for photography, in fact, quite the opposite. I find a lot of the very best pictures come in these awful weather conditions because, firstly, not many people come out. Everybody wants to shoot the blue skies and the fluffy white clouds. I'm not really too keen on those, although I do like being out in those conditions. But today is all about black and white. It's all about atmosphere, and it's all about grain. And that's the reason I'm shooting with the camera I brought along with me. I don't want high definition. I don't want smoothness. I don't want much clarity. I want it to all be very low key and moody. Right, well, I've managed to find a bit of shelter amongst all this wind and rain, and I want to explain something about the camera and the equipment I'm using today. So first off, I've come out with my Nikon F80, or an N80 as it's known in the States. Very simple, fairly late film camera, and I've coupled it with a 24-85 VR zoom, a pretty modern lens, which works perfectly with the film camera. Believe it or not, I get the stabilization, so I'm getting about an extra 3 stops worth of image stabilization. Now, film-wise, I'm using Kodak TMax 400, and I'm rating it at 800. I give myself an extra stop. Now, the reason is I want the speed, not only for hand-holding, but I want to introduce a lot of grain and atmosphere to these images. So they're not going to be smooth and clean, they're going to be very, very gritty. I'm going to use a developer called Agfa Rodinal. Now, that's been around since 1893, and it's fairly well tried and tested, you might say, and it gives the sort of gritty image I'm looking for. Now, I'll be honest, this probably isn't the ideal camera for today. It really is going to have to be something like a weather-sealed micro 4/3 body, which is absolutely fantastic, but I want to take images in camera which represent the mood of the day. I don't want nice, smooth, clean digital images which I then process to make look gritty. I want gritty negatives, and this is going to give me that. I have no option later in post-processing. They're not going to be colour, they can't be, and they're not going to be smooth. They're going to be what I envisaged when I started out on the trip today. Now, obviously I've not been doing a great deal of talking on this vlog. Been quite a long section since I actually recorded anything. That's because of the weather. It's been absolutely blowing a gale. Every time I stood the tripod up, it blew over with a little GoPro on it. But I am sheltered now. I am onto the other side of the little lake here, and it's a lot nicer. I can actually hear myself think, and it's not as cold either, so I'm going to carry on taking shots handheld and yeah, see how I get on. Now, so far I have shot every single image handheld on this outing. I've walked about 6 or 7 miles, my feet are sore, and I've carried a tripod, and I have an extra lens and I have some filters with me, and I've not used them, so I am going to use them. I'm going to make the point that carrying this gear has some purpose. And this is a shot where I need a tripod because I'm putting a deep red filter on. My shutter speed is quite slow now, so the tripod's going to stabilise it. Deep red filter is going to make the sky very dark, very dramatic, and take away a lot of the shadow detail, so it's going to be a very, very strong image. Somebody creeping up behind me there. Apologies for the lack of filter holder. It vignettes, I need a bigger filter for this, or some circular screw-in ones. More money. Well, I don't know if it was worth it, but yeah, very nice to set the tripod up and line things up a bit more accurately. A bit more my style, but only possible now that the wind has dipped and the sun's come out a little bit, the rain stopped, the hail stopped, and yeah, otherwise it would just blown over. Now, although I'm shooting film, and obviously I can't see what I've captured, I have a very good idea of what they're going to look like when they're processed, when they're developed. And that's because I've shot a lot of film in the past, and I've printed a lot, both in the darkroom mainly, and also the last few years digitally. So I have come out with preconceived ideas, pre-visualization if you like, and that's what's driven me to this location. Yet again, I have broken one of my cheapo vlogging tripods. This is the fourth one now. Now this one's only lasted about 4 or 5 weeks, but today it's had a right hammering. I'm not showing you all the times it's fallen over, but it has fallen over a good 8 or 9 times, and It's only cheap and it's only plastic, but I've had enough of the cheap plastic ones. We're going to start carrying the Surui metal monster. Well, it's not a monster, it's still quite small. But yeah, at £22–23 a pop, I am throwing money away on these cheap ones, although they're absolutely fantastic when they work.